lies the Puerto Rico Trench, an abyss that represents not only the deepest point in the Atlantic, but also a geological time bomb of terrifying proportions.
For many years, the Puerto Rico Trench has been a place full of stories and fear, a dark and quiet part of the ocean where stories and science meet. But when a team of scientists used a new AI system to scan its deepest point, they found something no one was ready for. The data showed strange shapes, signals and movements that made no sense. It was as if something down there was breaking the rules of nature. Now, scientists are left thinking about one question: what is really hiding under the Puerto Rico Trench? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. AI reveals something shocking about the Puerto Rico Trench. A team of scientists went on a rare ocean research mission in 2025. Their aim was to search the Atlantic Ocean's deepest point, the Puerto Rico Trench. No person or typical submarine could survive here because of its very chilly, dark, and serious pressure. People had been trying to study it for years, but their tools were not able to handle the harsh conditions. But this time, scientists had a new tool, a potent artificial intelligence system that could see more clearly and go deeper than ever before. The new AI was built to do what humans could not. It could listen, see, and feel everything happening under the water all at once. Instead of studying one thing at a time, like temperature or sound, the AI could study many things together: sound, movement, heat, and water pressure. It worked like a brain that could connect tiny clues and make sense of them. Every small sound, every slight shake, and every bit of heat was a piece of a bigger picture. The AI joined all those pieces together to help scientists understand what was happening deep below the sea.
The explorations have continued, and scientists continue to unravel some of its mysteries.
While it worked, the AI didn't just follow commands. It learned as it explored. During one of its dives, the AI detected a mysterious sound deep in the trench. It was not random noise, and it did not sound like anything the ocean had made before. The sound repeated every 36 minutes, always the same rhythm, like a clock ticking underwater. Scientists checked if it might be an earthquake, a whale, or a ship, but it didn't fit any of those descriptions. It was too steady, too powerful, and too deep to come from any living being or artificial machine. Even stranger was the fact that the sensors picked up something else every time the sound came back. The water had strange outbursts of ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, and methane. These gases are frequently found on the ocean floor, but they were showing up too frequently to be coincidental this time. In perfect time with the sound's pattern, the gas burst repeatedly. The breathing hypothesis is a novel theory that scientists developed after analyzing the facts. They thought there might be a massive pocket of gas or liquid concealed below the Earth's crust, well beneath the trench. Like lung breathing, this area appeared to progressively grow and contract. Through tiny fissures in the rocks, it emitted sound and gas as it expanded. It drew some gas back in when it contracted once again. Every 36 minutes, the identical sound and gas pattern were produced by this repetitive motion. The researchers discovered that the ocean floor was not at all quiet. Rather, it was moving, as if it had a steady heartbeat of its own. The AI produced another startling discovery. While researchers were still examining this breathing sound, it discovered a hidden world of life that no one had ever seen before as it peered farther into the trench. The AI's sensors saw gentle, bright lights drifting through the sea in the utter darkness. Small bioluminescent animals that can glow in the dark, were the source of the lights. They drifted like stars in the black water, shining in green and blue hues. The organisms appeared to respond to the AI's sonar waves by rhythmically lighting, as if they were using light to communicate. The AI also recorded images of something rare, giant xenophytophores, enormous single-celled organisms the size of a human hand. Before this, they had only been found in the Mariana Trench, on the opposite side of the world. Their discovery in Puerto Rico showed that these strange life forms had somehow survived in multiple deep ocean worlds, possibly for millions of years. When scientists studied the DNA samples the AI collected, they were amazed. The genetic material seems to be older than the majority of known forms of life, dating back more than 500 million years. It's likely that these extinct critters developed independently of all current species on Earth. It seemed as though the world above had not affected this area of the water, which had remained frozen in time, a secret ecosystem that reveals what life might have looked like when the planet was young. Scientists have dubbed it a time capsule of early Earth. This discovery changed everything scientists believed about the deep ocean. If the ocean still hides places untouched by human eyes, what else might be waiting down there? Let's learn more. Secrets of the Puerto Rico Trench. The Puerto Rico Trench is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. It stretches between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. This trench goes down more than 27,000 feet below sea level, making it even deeper than the height of Mount Everest. It is where the North American plate slides under the Caribbean plate, creating one of the most dangerous and unstable geological zones on the planet. The pressure in this place is so great that almost no human-made object can survive it without breaking apart. The extreme cold, darkness, and crushing weight of the water make it one of the last true frontiers left to explore. In 2018, explorer Victor Vescovo, known for his daring ocean expeditions, decided to explore this deep and unknown trench.
As an experimental vehicle, we're always trying to push the boundaries of technology to make it more affordable and more accessible for scientists.
He used a highly advanced submersible called the Limiting Factor. It was built to handle the strongest pressure on Earth. The mission was launched from his research ship, the DSSV Pressure Drop, which was equipped with one of the most advanced sonar mapping systems ever built. Victor's goal was not just to reach the bottom, but also to map and study the trench in ways no one had done before. Something unexpected showed up on the sonar when the Limiting Factor reached the Milwaukee Deep, the deepest known section of the Puerto Rico Trench. Deep on the ocean floor, the data revealed a huge, odd hexagonal shape, with 6 equal sides and sharp corners that appeared too exact to be natural. It was completely symmetrical. Underwater, most rock formations look rough or uneven, but this one had flat edges and distinct angles, almost as if it had been constructed or planned. Since it had never been observed at such a depth, the crew was taken aback and perplexed. To find out more, a second international study team visited the same site in 2020, 2 years later. This new team made use of high-definition underwater drones and upgraded mapping equipment. The mystery was further complicated by what they discovered. The hexagonal formation turned out to be massive, around 200 meters wide, and perfectly balanced in every direction. It looked like a huge platform embedded in the seafloor. Some scientists thought it might be a unique mineral deposit shaped by ancient geological forces. Others quietly wondered if it could be something man-made, though that idea was considered too strange to say publicly. Samples were carefully collected from the edges of the structure. When the materials were tested, the results shocked the team. The formation was made of something far denser than normal rock. The samples contained titanium and iridium, 2 metals that rarely occur together naturally. Because of their strength and heat resistance, these elements are frequently utilized in sophisticated manufacturing. It was not scientifically logical to find them fused into the rock at such a depth. Titanium could not be explained by volcanic eruptions, and there were no indications of close meteor strikes that could have provided iridium. Scientists now have more questions than answers in light of this revelation. Stranger still, there were significant magnetic abnormalities in the vicinity of the building. As though controlled or produced by something far below the surface, instruments picked up magnetic fields that pulsed in patterns. The measurements were inconsistent with the Earth's natural magnetic background in that area. The magnetic force grew stronger as the submersible approached the hexagonal spot. Some researchers speculated that the structure might be generating energy or responding to the equipment nearby because the signals came in waves that were almost rhythmic. An underwater drone later recorded luminous marine life swimming close to the formation during a different dive. These animals circled the building in what appeared to be a purposeful action, moving in ordered patterns. When the team's biological samples were examined in the lab, researchers found genetic sequences that did not correspond to any known marine species. In contrast to those seen in typical deep-sea animals, the DNA contained peculiar identifiers. This suggested that these animals may have developed independently, fitting into the rare chemical and magnetic conditions around the building. Governments quickly declared the region a protected research zone and limited access despite these findings. There was very little information released to the public. Whether the hexagonal structure is a rare natural formation, the remnants of an ancient object, or a sign of cutting-edge, unidentified technology concealed beneath the ocean floor, no one is certain what it actually is. But what is sure is that the Puerto Rico Trench still holds secrets far beyond anything science has yet explained. If the trench can hide strange materials and unknown life, could it also be guarding something that lives on through legends and the fears of those who sail above it? Let's find out. The abyss of legends, myths, and danger of the Puerto Rico Trench. While the sea appears serene and tranquil from above, the Earth is gradually shifting and changing below. Massive quantities of pressure are being stored as a result of the plates beneath the ocean floor pressing against one another. When the pressure eventually subsides, it can result in strong earthquakes and lethal waves that travel far. Because of its potential, people have long been afraid of this trench. A powerful earthquake that occurred close to the trench in 1918 resulted in a huge tsunami that slammed the western coast of Puerto Rico. Hundreds of people's lives were taken, and entire villages were wiped away. The disaster had a lasting effect on the island's history and served as a message to everyone that a quiet sea can suddenly turn into rage. According to scientists, the same risk is still there till today. The plates under the trench continue to grind against one another, and a major earthquake might occur again in the future. Along the trench, scientists have placed a lot of sensors and measurement devices in an effort to understand and tell these occurrences. These devices monitor every tiny tremor, shift in the ocean floor, and increase in force. However, despite all of this equipment, nobody can pinpoint the exact time of the next major earthquake. There are what specialists refer to as locked faults in the trench. In some places, the two plates become locked together for an extended period of time, creating stress that eventually becomes too great. A massive earthquake, and even a tsunami, could strike adjacent coasts in a matter of minutes if it ultimately breaches. As a result, the Puerto Rico Trench is regarded as both a mysterious and spiritual location as well as a hazardous geological spot. Long before scientists studied it, the native Taino people who lived in the Caribbean believed the trench was a sacred place. They thought it was a doorway between the world of the living and the world of spirits. The Taino believed in powerful sea gods who controlled storms, earthquakes, and the ocean itself. The god of wind and devastation, Huracan, was one of their most feared gods. When he was angry, they said he could send huge waves and shake the ground. Those who lived close to the ocean were required to be humble and in balance, according to the Taino. Many islanders still held on to these days centuries later. Unusual lights moving deep under the ocean and unusual sounds carried by the wind after large storms were reported by fishermen. Legends that persisted for generations were born out of these tales, which combined times past with contemporary issues. There were also rumors of unusual things occurring along the trench when European sailors started exploring the Caribbean. Others reported seeing ghost ships that materialized out of thin air. Others said that unexplained whirlpools or luminescent creatures dragged ships down into the depths.
Mike, you're the expert. Did we really see something completely new there?
Some of these occurrences were later described by scientists as natural. Perhaps bioluminescent organisms, such as deep-sea fish, were the source of the glowing lights. Sudden waves or whirlpools might have been caused by underwater landslides or small quakes. But for sailors and locals who saw them, these explanations didn't take away the fear. They still believed the trench was not just a part of the ocean, it was something alive and watching. Today, people still call it El Abismo, which means the abyss. It's both a place of wonder and a source of unease. The Puerto Rico Trench remains a symbol of both science and mystery. When the Earth decides to change, it serves as an example of the frailty of life and the true force of nature. For the people, it's a part of their culture and history, not just a scientific concern. For ages, it has caused shock, fear, and love. The trench still keeps its secrets unknown, despite all the research and new findings. It serves as a reminder to everyone that there are still secrets in the water that cannot be solved. There is a force under the waves that has the ability to encourage and destroy. The Puerto Rico Trench is a site where myth and nature join, and where the unknown still rule the deep, regardless of how it is seen from a scientific or historical point. What happens if the true threat beneath those waters isn't a creature, but rather the Earth itself getting ready to attack? Stay tuned for more. The silent fault beneath the waves, Puerto Rico's hidden tsunami threat. New studies from the United States Geological Survey and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have revealed a hidden fault line under the trench that could cause a massive earthquake and tsunami if it ever breaks loose. The North American plate is slowly sliding beneath the Caribbean plate in a process called subduction.
The North American plate and the Caribbean plate meet in this region in a destructive and constant embrace.
This movement is extremely powerful, but what makes this area so risky is that the fault surface between the two plates is smooth instead of rough. In other parts of the world, rough fault lines release small amounts of energy through regular, smaller earthquakes. But the smooth fault under Puerto Rico allows stress to build quietly for many years, even centuries, without any warning. When that pressure finally releases, it could cause a huge earthquake, possibly reaching a magnitude of 8.5 or more. That would be strong enough to equal the force of hundreds of nuclear bombs going off at once. When the seafloor suddenly moves, it pushes a massive wall of seawater outward in all directions. According to models from NOAA, waves from a trench rupture could rise as high as 30 feet and hit Puerto Rico's northern shores in less than 10 minutes. The Dominican Republic, Haiti, and the Virgin Islands would be struck only minutes later. The waves could then travel across the Atlantic at nearly 500 miles per hour, fast enough to reach Miami or New York in a few hours. Even distant countries like Portugal or Spain might see smaller waves later that same day. Experts say such a tsunami could affect not only the Caribbean, but also parts of North America and Europe, making it one of the most destructive ocean events in modern history. Recent research has shown clear warning signs that pressure is building under the trench. Seismographs and ocean sensors have picked up clusters of tiny tremors called microquakes. These are small movements that show parts of the fault are beginning to shift. But what worries scientists most are the silent areas, parts of the fault that show no movement at all. These are the spots where stress builds up the longest, and they are often where big earthquakes start. NASA satellites have also noticed that Puerto Rico's northern coastline is slowly rising, another sign that pressure is increasing underground. All this evidence points to one fact: the trench is becoming more unstable over time. Scientists have compared the Puerto Rico Trench to other dangerous fault zones around the world. The smooth fault surfaces and long, quiet periods are very similar to what exists in Japan's Nankai Trough and North America's Cascadia subduction zone. In Japan, this kind of buildup led to the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, which measured magnitude 9.0 and created tsunami waves over 130 feet high. Nearly 20,000 people died, and Japan's main island moved more than 2 meters from its original position. A similar event happened in the Cascadia zone in 1700, when a powerful quake sent waves all the way across the Pacific Ocean to Japan. These events show a clear pattern. Long periods of silence often end in major disasters. The Puerto Rico Trench matches this same pattern.
This is a view of the trench, the island, the Lesser Antilles, Hispaniola, Cuba, the Bahamas Banks.
Which is why scientists are so concerned. If such an earthquake and tsunami were to hit the Caribbean, the results would be terrible. Cities like San Juan, Santo Domingo, and Charlotte-Amalie would face massive flooding and destruction within minutes. Entire coastal towns could be wiped out. Roads, ports, and airports would be ruined, making rescue efforts almost impossible. Many power stations and water systems would be destroyed, and millions of people could be left without homes. Smaller islands could become completely cut off from help. Beyond the physical damage, the region's economy would take years to recover. Experts agree that the Puerto Rico Trench is one of the most dangerous but least understood natural threats in the Atlantic. What do you think about the dangers within the Puerto Rico Trench? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.